Now, this would be the first time in FBI history that an FBI director is held in contempt of Congress. And it's all the more significant because, of course, Wray is a lifelong Republican appointed by Donald Trump. House Speaker Kevin McCarthy also doubling down, saying tonight that the contempt process for Wray will go to a vote in the House floor next week after first passing through the House Oversight Committee on Thursday, unless Wray hands over the document.
If he doesn't come forth and allow everyone to see it, we will move contempt charges against him on Thursday.
The FBI responding today, saying the FBI has continually demonstrated its commitment to accommodate the committee's request, including by producing the document in a reading room at the U.S. Capitol. This common sense safeguard is often employed in response to congressional requests and in court proceedings to protect important concerns such as the physical safety of sources and the integrity of investigations. The escalation to a contempt vote under these circumstances is unwarranted. The FBI director prepares to be held in contempt for wanting to stick to protocol rather than becoming a political pawn. Joining us now, Dave Trott, former Republican congressman from Michigan. He served on the House Judiciary Committee. And NewsNation national security contributor Tracy Walder. She's a former FBI special agent who worked in counterintelligence. Thank you to both of you. Appreciate it. All right, Tracy, first let me ask you from the FBI perspective, what do you make of the developments today? What do you make of them showing Chairman Comer and Ranking Member Raskin the document and the responses to it?
Well, thank you so much for having me, Dan. This is incredibly frustrating to me because, in my opinion, I don't think I've ever seen anything that is more politically motivated. Again, like Raskin was saying, this was investigated by members of the Trump administration back in 2020. And so I'm very surprised that this is where we're at again. Now, in terms of them seeing the document in a reading room, that is very standard protocol. In fact, when I was at the CIA and at the FBI and had to provide classified documents for various investigations, that was not unusual. It is sent via courier to Congress, and then that is read in a special room there where they can guarantee the physical integrity of a source and the physical integrity of an investigation. And he has really done nothing wrong outside of what the realm of protocol would be.
Dave Trott, what do you make of this?
Well, I agree with Tracy and Dan. Great to be with you. Let's look at the facts. Comer issued a subpoena. Director Wray called up and said, we pledge to cooperate. It called both the ranking member and the chairman, mentioned that it's a FBI policy to protect confidential sources. Seems like a good policy to me. Offered to have the document reviewed in a secured location, offered to provide a redacted version of the document, offered other extraordinary information in an effort to comply. And in exchange for that, the chairman and the speaker rushed to the microphones and say,
sounds like we
in contempt. It's a complete political theater and a waste of time. Even if the contempt resolution passes the House, nothing will come of it because the Justice Department will pursue charges. And it's really an embarrassment for the Republican majority.
Yeah, and I think that's an important point to make. It was something that I was repeating when we were talking about January 6th contempt proceedings. And in that case, it was all the left-leaning media saying, oh, contempt of Congress. They're recommending contempt of Congress. It's going to be the biggest deal in the world. And I kept saying, it doesn't matter if the Department of Justice isn't going to do anything with it, right? So does this just become symbolic, Dave?
Well, I mean, there is one route that the House could pursue. There's three types of contempt powers: civil, criminal, and inherent powers that the Supreme Court declared the House had in a case from 1927. And heaven help us if they decide to pursue the inherent contempt powers, because that means they direct the sergeant at arms to go detain the director of the FBI. And then I fear for the future of our republic significantly, because that would be a bad thing for all of us.
Be very bad. And I said, by the way, just so we're clear, I said exactly the same thing when the left was calling for the sergeant of arms to go and enforce this stuff with regard to contempt of Congress on certain people. The DOJ did not want to move forward on. Thank you for watching. Go to newsnationnow.com to find NewsNation on your cable provider. And don't forget to click the red subscribe button below to get more of NewsNation's fact-driven, unbiased coverage.